All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing? Give me a second here. Let me bring down the music. And let's go to the full screen. Actually, we'll just go to the chart screen instead. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend. It's Monday. It is a short week. It is a MSCI Monday over here. For most of you, doesn't mean anything, so don't worry about it, but it's an MSCI Monday. Morgan Stanley rebalanced their index today. This Thursday is Thanksgiving. It's Gobble Gobble Turkey Day on Thursday. Hopefully you guys are excited for that. I'm even though I'm Canadian, I guess because I'm Canadian, it's not Thanksgiving for me this Thursday like you Americans. Our Thanksgiving was a little bit earlier, the Canadian Thanksgiving. But because I'm an Indian first and then an Indian who lives in Canada, I've never really experienced Thanksgiving, you know? Having a big turkey feast and all that fancy stuff. I've never really experienced it, so I don't know how it goes, but I know a lot of you love it. Look forward to hanging out with your family, your friends, eating a big turkey feast, turkey dinner, and a bunch of other home cooked meals by your loved ones. So I'm very excited for all of you out there, and hopefully one day I get to experience it through my friends and family, if they ever have one themselves. But that's not the question on hand over here. Why we go live for? We go live to talk about the stock market. As you can see the chart over here to my what side is this for you guys? This should be my right side, but maybe on the stream it's on the left side. Right? On the stream, it's the left. Anyway, I don't know. To my right side over here, to your left probably, is the chart, which is what we're going to be going through most of the time today. The stock market, the moves out there that are happening. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Google, a new all-time high. That's the thumbnail for today. Obviously, if you're watching me on YouTube, you would have seen that already. Google at a new all-time high. Market looks like it is doing better. Right, we had a little bit of a good move up on the market today. Let me just turn off this indicator. A little bit of a nice bounce right off the 100-day moving average, 50-day moving average. Now the question is, does the market push back into all-time high before the end of the year? Or is this just a fail pump before they start cracking it lower to the 200-day moving average? Now, one of my predictions was, if we start seeing selling below 588, 589, potentially a lot more downside incoming. But the stock is, or the chart is actually not setting up that way. Remember when I gave you the two possible scenarios, which is one is this and the other one is this? Right now, the scenario that we're playing out with is a potential reclaim and support being built in this area. But if support does not get built in this zone, in this pocket, then potentially more downside incoming and a potential test of the 200-day moving average. But we don't have to be worried about all that when the leader in the AI business, the leader in AI, the leader in technology at the moment is doing things like this, which is taking out the all-time high and just straight rip city. So monster move over here on Google. Even though some of the other AI constituents are not doing the exact same thing, this is still a very good position for where the market is. The banks are doing fine. You know, they're not down big from their all-time highs. Only down 10-ish% from all-time highs for JPM. Nvidia only down like I think like 10-15%. Yeah, 15-10% from its all-time highs. We're still in a good zone here for all my bulls out there who are looking for more upside incoming. But as always, the job is to defend and protect your money that you have been making so far in the swing trading, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride as long as they keep going higher and higher. But once we start seeing some downside, make sure you're able to immediately switch over to the defense mode, defense mechanism, and protect your profits, right? So just be ready for that. I see a lot of people in chat today. Let me quickly go through the chat, or maybe it's just a couple people messaging. Yeah, it's Sean Hazel. What's up, Sean? We got Christmas. What happened to your other account, TH? Did you get that account banned or something? Knowing you, it's probably not off the table over there. But yeah, TH on a different account now. He's on a Christmas account. Damien's in the house. What's up, Damien? EU Trader TV Live. Yes, EU Trader TV Live indeed. We don't like that. Prad for Prime Minister, Prad for President. He's under 35, so he can't run in the USA. Well, I'm not American at all. I wasn't born in America, so I can't run for president. But I guess like Mamdani, I could run for mayor of a state or a province, as we call it in Canada. So like Mamdani, I could run for state mayor, but I cannot run for for president. Maybe I could run for prime minister also in Canada. I don't know if you have to be born in Canada to be a Canadian prime minister. Maybe something like that, right? Could be similar. I don't know how it works. I don't try to follow politics too much. W chat, yes sir, W chat. Prad, you look like you just did a line. Yeah, because my hair's all over the place, man. I got out of the shower and my hair did not want to behave. My hair did not want to behave. Also, the last 10 minutes of the market today, market in general today was not fun for me. So, you know, my hair's all over the place because I've been playing with my hair while I've been trading. I've just been non-stop brushing my hair, so my hair looks like I've been doing some lines for sure. But instead of doing lines, we're actually been drawing a lot of lines on the chart, which is another part of the job. You'll see me do that. But yeah, I need to get a haircut. I need to go get a haircut. I trimmed my beard. I thought that would be more than enough. I thought just trimming the beard would be a good enough of a thing to do, and then I'll look a little bit more, you know, like I'll look a little bit more presentable. But it seems that it's not close enough. You know, sometimes you gotta just do what you gotta do and put a hat on it. Put a hat on it. I had a good day in the market, but I'm dreading the future. I think right now with how the market's holding up, you know, the future doesn't look too bad, but there are some signs. Ooh, look at that. Now we're counting in 85% probability that we are going to get a rate cut in the market. Isn't that cool? So previously, the last week, we were sitting at a completely different picture. We were looking at a 60% probability of not getting a rate cut and a 40% probability of getting a rate cut. But now things are going back in a different direction. 85% chance that we do get a rate cut. I wonder what happened over the weekend for the numbers and the probabilities to change so drastically. But as I was saying, this just goes to back my claim that things are looking better now, right? Things are looking like they're going to head back to the upside, at least for the short-term period. We have the Santa Claus rally coming up. That's usually around the first week of January or the last week of December, or like around the whole time period. Everyone makes up a new time zone every time they talk about Santa Claus rally. That's why I don't like to talk about it too much. But you know, Santa Claus rally is not that far out, basically, and now we're waiting to see if Rudolph and his friends are going to help the market climb back up higher. We'll see if that's how it plays out. Also, maybe some profit taking potentially took place right before the end of the year for tax purposes and so on. So maybe that profit taking is done, and now we're going to see some buying coming back in. It all depends on actually what happens, right? So the future can only be told by living through it, by going through the time. But you know, it's good to have opinions and good to have some sort of idea of what's happening, and saying dreading the future might not be the worst thing. But I'll say right now, with with Google taking out all-time high the way it did, I don't think we should be too worried about the market. Look how Apple is setting up at the moment. Apple is setting up for a breakout of its own all-time high after bouncing from a level that I had drawn. It's not even a real level, but I like to see how support is now basically forming here. You got a nice tight flag at a new all-time high, and potentially that flag breaking out and then going higher into another all-time high. So when market is setting up like this, I don't think we should be really worried about potential doomsday events. So I think we're chilling right now. A lot of these stocks have pulled back, such as Microsoft and Meta, which actually ran up drastically on their original run up. So a little bit of a pullback on these. Even Amazon pulling back. Right, so some of these have pulled back and now going into good support areas and showing us supports being built back into those areas. But the big boys, Apples and Googles, are which have been lagging first, right? Google was lagging a lot, Apple was lagging a lot, and now Google is basically blasting off with this Gemini 3 launch last week, I believe, and Apple just trying to play catch up over here also. So good opportunity setting up. I think having Apple on watch for tomorrow might actually be a very good idea. Watching Apple to see if it gets above $277, if it's able to stay above 277, more of a reason to keep an eye on it. That way potentially gives us some sort of a trade idea. Let me quickly go to my daily watch list, which I haven't modified since October 30th. That was the last time I made a watch list. Insane. So today being November, I can just do today, right? Yeah, awesome. Today or tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Does that work like that? I think it does. Anyways, Apple. Putting Apple on my watch list. The resistance area 277.05. Basically 277 is your inflection level. If Apple is able to show you any support tomorrow above $277, you're just buying dips. It's very simple. Look at Google today. Google broke out to a new all-time high in the pre-market itself and is just simply not able to get sold off on the dips. It's important how it behaves on the dips, right? Not on the rips. On this rip, what the fuck? On this rip, it struggled, right? But on the pullback, on the dip, are we creating a higher low or not? And the answer is yes. We created a higher low, another higher low being created, and you can see how we're basically making a higher low, higher high pattern right into the 320 area on GOOGL at the moment. So just things are looking way better than what people are showing on the internet. You know, the sentiment is really bearish out there. A lot of people are being scared, probably because of people like Michael Burry and his Palantir short, and you know, Jim Cramer possibly, I think, heard him call the top recently. So people are getting scared by the social media analytics out there. I would just urge you to just zoom out. If you're in doubt, guys, just zoom out. Look how far the market drop is in the bigger picture, right? People are scared about a 30-point drop when from April till now we've had a 200-point pop. So, you know, if you just zoom out for a little bit and just look at where the market is and what it is doing, is this really doomsday for you? Right? Is this that bad? Not really, man. Like, we are still in a good position on the market. The market could pull back so much more if there was actual selling and real short sellers coming in. We're not looking at that anytime soon, in my opinion. There's still lots of good news coming ahead from especially December 10th, which is right around the corner. I think next week, right? December 10th, 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out. On a Monday? I guess because, oh no, that's November 10th, lol. I was gonna say, FOMC is never on a Monday, it's on a Wednesday. December 10th, Wednesday, middle of the week. So yeah, 2 weeks out. Next week is December 1st, and then 10th of December. We'll see if these markets start moving around a little bit more based on how Powell prices the market. Maybe I need to go check on one of my positions here and see how that position is doing. We're losing on this position now. So you can see how we bought this at 61 cents and now this is at 52 cents. So we're down 17% on this account, on this position, sorry, because of the market moving today, right? If we do get a FOMC rate cut in 10 December, it's very likely the S&P 500 makes a new all-time high before the end of the year. And actually, this could also be a way for me to hedge myself. I could just go long the SPY right now in these areas, and I could also hold my poly market position. And if the poly market position is winning, I can quickly take a loss on the SPY position. But if the poly market position is losing, I just hold my S&P 500 position, because a new all-time high would easily cover my loss on poly market, and a lot more gains will be made out of it. So opportunities like this, guys, You know, you have so many ways to hedge a position now in the stock market, through prediction markets, through options markets. There's really no reason for anyone to lose out there anymore in the markets, right? It's just like, if you're losing, you can quickly go out there, find another way to hedge yourself really quickly and protect your downside. Previously not available options, right? Previously not available to a lot of people, or in general not available at all. But now the options are dime a dozen. Quickly going through some of the moves over here today. Tesla had a nice pop. I see Tesla had like a 6% move, not bad at all. Most of the growth names are IonQ, OKLO, which got added to the index today. It's holding off fairly well. Where is this? Since I haven't tweeted about stock market in a while, support 160 above. Yeah, look at that. Ever since it got below that, it just never recovered. Look at that. Haha, my tweet was very good. Very good short from that 160 failure to follow through. Haha, and then you had a nice head and shoulders, left shoulder, right shoulder, head, neckline break right here. Another good short from here to here. Good opportunities across the board. Anyways, the point I was getting to, my leg is getting really itchy. What the fuck? Brad, the right side is correct. Okay, it was on the right side. Did you get two Thanksgiving? Don't you get two Thanksgivings? Do I get two Thanksgivings? I guess, like the Canadian Thanksgiving and the American Thanksgiving, so I technically get two Thanksgiving, but I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, and I just lost my flip-flop. Oh my god, there you go. I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving like I mentioned earlier. Arnold, born in Austria, and he ran for prez. I don't think he ran for prez. He ran for the mayor of California. I don't think he's allowed to run for the prez, is he? Like, I think you're wrong on that. Maybe he tried. Where is it? Let me highlight for your boomer eyes can see better. Yeah, I don't think you can run for the president if you're not American born. Oh, you can! For Canada, you can! Awesome! Really? John Turner, born in England. I didn't know that. That's probably way before my time. Way before my time. My prime ministers were Stephen Harper and Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney. Those were the three prime minister eras that I've been in Canada for. Stephen Harper, Justin Trudeau, and Mark Carney. Yeah. So pretty cool. I did not know that you could be a Canadian prime minister without being born in Canada, but I do know American laws are a lot more strict than that, because America comes first before anybody else in the world. Yeah. Anyways, INHD is a name I want to mention today. This stock got absolutely destroyed. Ran up to $3 and then right back to where it started and a little bit lower than that. So this stock today, I'm not sure what the heck happened. Maybe an offering of some sort, but I know a lot of people were mentioning this name today. Insane. How would you even have caught this? Maybe a back through 220 over here, as the first initial support zone was around $2.20, but then on the pullback, not able to find support at 220. I guess that is your trigger to get short. I want to see how that looks like on the 1 minute. Does that look like a bouncy ball? No, but this looks like a pretty good bouncy ball right here. Nice little bouncy ball action right at $180. This could technically be the failure to follow through. Another failure to follow through right here at 280. Very interesting. Had I been watching my scanners, maybe I pick up on these opportunities, but there is a very, very clear setup right here. The bouncy ball setup, in my opinion. And then you could also do something fancy like drawing a trend line and trying to take a break of that trend line. But INHD, a name that was missed today by me. Boy, oh boy, what a great trade. I mean, whew. 83% pullback after having a monster run up today. Not able to really even find the reason why. I think it might have been an offering, but I couldn't find it. If you guys know exactly what happened over there, please do educate me. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys the earnings board for this week. As I mentioned already, it is a short week. Thursday is a day off, and then Friday is a half day. So most likely Thursday and Friday are complete write-offs. No one's gonna actually care about it, and the market's only going to care about the 3 days over here: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Tuesday, we got a couple good companies reporting earnings: Alibaba, NIO, some Chinese companies over here, Abercrombie and Finch, ANF. That's a great name to always have on your watch list. Let me just quickly throw in Baba, NIO, ANF, ADI, Best Buy, Pony, Burlington. I've traded before. Those are all the names that are going to go on the watch list over here. Let me also do this real quick. Insert below. There we go. Boom, boom, pow. And then from today, Symbiotic, SYM, Zoom, ZM. But I think those are the only two. Keysight's actually a decent company. Allegiant Technologies is also a good one, so we'll throw that one on there. Those are the companies that are reporting earnings today after hours, and sadly, earnings season is almost coming to an end. There's going to be a lot more names reporting, but they're not as high priority names for us, like your Nvidias and your Googles and your GMEs. Well, GME's not important, but I just had to throw it in there as a joke, but you guys get it. So companies that are very, very high priority are not really reporting anymore, but you still have some good opportunities out there if you're watching. For example, Baba has a very, very good level right into this 161 area. See how almost every day of this week and a couple of days of last week, we were not able to get above this 161, 161.50 zone. Off of the earnings report tomorrow, if we are above this 161 to 161.50 pocket, why is this trade not along at that point on every single dip? Just wait for the stock to go higher, come back, buy the dip, and enjoy the rip. So watching for BABA to do something like this tomorrow, where we'll be able to join the upside. And if it just continues to reject off of this 161 and then pull back, then that's your short level right there, right? So the under over on Baba over there looks very good to me. NIO has had a big pullback so far, but basically pulling back to previous support areas. Not the most cleanest charts to day trade off of either, but you know, it's got one of those similar patterns. It's not exactly similar like Baba, but right here around 580 to 6, if NIO is able to get back above 580 to 6, there could be some sort of a long in this area above $6, but the priority for this is not as high compared to Baba, because Baba just has the cleaner chart for the breakout on the daily chart, along with the catalyst, which is the earnings catalyst. So gotta keep those things in mind, right? Sometimes the chart has to speak to you, and the NIO chart isn't speaking to me as the Baba chart is speaking to me. The Baba chart is just a little bit cleaner to take a look for on the trade opportunity there. ANF, another stock reporting tomorrow pre-market. Oh my god, what is going on with ANF? ANF has been getting smoked. Oh well, you know, for us, I guess it's a good thing, because this makes my life a lot more easier. If we're above 65.50 or you know, holding 65.50 by any means tomorrow, then that should be your long off of that area. But if we're not able to stay around 65.50 and we're just crumbling below that on any pop, it's not able to reclaim 65.50, then that's a no-brainer short there on ANF. Very, very clean chart. A little bit of a bouncy ball pattern, kind of has that bouncy ball pattern on the daily chart. Not necessarily 100% true bouncy ball pattern, but it has that characteristic. So if we do break below this, that'll be interesting. I want to quickly go check out what ANF looks like on the chart with indicators for me. I want to see if we're below the 200 or above the 200. We're actually well below the 200 right now on, I want this visibility not on the daily, please. I guess, no, I don't want it on the daily. So looking pretty ugly right now. 50-day moving average crossed a while back below the 200. It tried to get back above the 200 over here, did not succeed as the market pushed it right back to the downside. So we'll be watching how the 65.50 area plays out on ANF. Last time I checked, ANF was a you know, decently priced company in terms of PE ratio. What is it now? 6.21. That makes it so hard to short. That makes it so hard to short. But you know, still on watch. As a technical play, if we're below 65.50, it's a no-brainer short. If it's above 65.50, there could be a long, and the fact that the PE ratio is so cheap, it could be even better of a long. So make sure that you're putting that in your notes. I'm gonna put my notes over here. The PE is 6 for ANF. Insane. ADI, I think this is a semiconductor company last time I checked. Is it? Yeah, semiconductor company. Don't actually ask me what they do in terms of semiconductors. I've never driven deep into I've never dove deep into ADI like that, but I do know that it's a semiconductor company. Their chart is not necessarily the most beautiful chart, but there is something that I can see on a quick glance, which is this right here. Come on. On a quick glance, I do see something right here on ADI, which could potentially set up. If we start breaking above this trend line and show support above the trend line, there could be something there to keep an eye on. But the priority for ADI, I'm going to give it a low priority. Unless it's really gapping up and blasting off tomorrow into the highs, then you know, we'll talk about it. But I don't think it's going to be a high priority for me right now just from looking at it. But it's on the watch list. There is also this bottom capability. If we do break below 224 and crumble, there could be a good short over there to look for. Also, make sure that you're watching the semiconductor ETF when you're trading this name. Best Buy. Let's go see where Best Buy is at the moment. I'm not seeing too much of anything on Best Buy as a trade setup. On the monthly, we're in previous ranges. On the daily, we're in previous ranges. It would be cool if Best Buy is able to get above somewhere around $77 to $78 and is able to trade above that level. But being stuck in this area is not exciting to me. I want to see something in this zone. So Best Buy, low priority. We'll see how it reports tomorrow pre-market. Maybe it can get upgraded to a higher priority depending on how it reports. Pony, a little bit of a reversal on Pony all the way back to the IPO range low, where it's actually finding support, which is not bad. If you ask me, you know, anytime a stock finding support in IPO range lows, that's a good thing. And Pony had a little bit of a catalyst changing run up not too long ago. I think they had a lot of partnerships coming in, some good news, and actually good news after good news after good news. So it's a good thing to see that Pony is finding support in previous ranges, but you don't want to see it start crumbling if you're a bull. In terms of tomorrow, look, this is exactly like the BABA pattern, which makes me a lot more excited. If we're able to get above this 1265, 1270 pocket, let's just say $13, right? Inflection level 13, but the resistance is 1270, 1265, sorry, 1265 to 1270. If Pony's able to get above it in pre-market and stay above it all day tomorrow, I think there's a good long over there to keep an eye on. on. So Pony gets upgraded to a higher level priority right off the bat because it does have that Baba-like tendencies on the chart at the moment. Burlington is sadly a very illiquid name for a $200 stock. You notice how it's only trading about 2 million shares for a $200-300 stock, but it's a decent ATR name if I remember correctly. How much ATR does Burlington move? $9 a day almost. So decent ATR. If you're able to be patient and play passively, you could find yourself in a good trade. But just from looking at the chart here, the levels are a little bit murky. You can see how this 300 area has played as a solid resistance for some time. I would like to see the stock get above 300 and then, you know, really able to show some staying power above 300 if we're looking for the long, but I don't think it's possible. I'll just put in 300 as my inflection level and a low priority for now. Pre-market obviously will be very important for Burlington to see if there's a trade opportunity setting up for me. Now let's go to some of the stocks reporting after hours currently, like SYM. Looks like a good report from SYM. We could use our trusty tools. Benzinga, give me a second here. Okay, gotcha. Let me open up Benzinga real quick so we can read. Shout out to Benzinga for sponsoring this segment. Make sure you go check out the links below in the description for awesome tools like Benzinga. Okay, I cannot find a day where I'm not using Benzinga for day trading. It's impossible. You gotta have a way to disseminate news as it comes out right away, especially if you're a day trader, because news is your best friend, because news is a catalyst, and a catalyst means the stock is moving. So news is your best friend as a day trader, and some of the best traders out there are news-based traders. And you know, the squawk opportunity, the news over here on Benzinga, I just love everything they do over here. So make sure you're checking out the link in the description or you're missing out big time. Let's go read a little bit about this report here. 618.46 versus 604. Nice little beat, up from previous last year at 576. Sorry. We delivered on commitments. We also added Medline. Outlook for the first quarter of fiscal 2026, Symbiotic expects revenue of 610 to 630, so basically above what they just reported, and EBITDA of 49 to 53 million. Where is the EPS, my guy? No EPS at all. Reported quarterly loss of 3 cents per share, which met the analyst estimates. Okay, but I don't see any EPS estimates. That's kind of ugly. Let me go to the other report here. So there you go, lost 3 cents per share, which is 160% decrease over earnings of 0.05 per share of same period last year. So EPS from same period last year, they're actually decreasing, but in terms of meeting analyst estimates, they actually met analyst estimates on the loss of 0.03, and the revenue, we already saw that they beat on the revenue, which happens to be a 7% increase from same period last year. So I guess a little bit of a mixed bag report for the boys. I'm just looking at my friends reviewing some of their trades. Just give me a second, chat. Oh, cool. They're just talking about INHD. Okay, you know, pretty decent report. I guess all that matters is the market likes it at the moment. We have seen a lot of stocks, though, go up in pre-market and then completely get slammed back down during regular hours. So you gotta make sure to be careful of something like that. Right now, $64 is on watch, as that was the previous pop. That pop high got turned into a little bit of a support right before this overall breakdown. So if this stock is struggling to reclaim 64, that's going to be an issue for tomorrow tomorrow, in my opinion, right? So possible selling right back at the $64 doesn't mean that the stock will go all the way back to yesterday's low and then actually turn red. It has like a possibility to do that, but I'm thinking if we struggle at 64, we probably pull back to 58, $60 and then trade somewhere around $60 for the rest of the day, which would still be a green day for SYM, okay? But it all depends how we behave over here. If we're able to show support above 64, potentially a whole new opportunity setting up to trade. But right now, just from what I see, I think 64 will be a little bit of a barrier, so I'm going to put that level as a highlight zone on my watch list and then see how it sets up in pre-market. Another name reporting and going up to the north side in the after hours over here is a company that I hate so much because I think their product is absolutely useless, but people still pay for it for some reason, right? So it doesn't matter what your opinion is. What matters is, are people using the product? And the answer is yes. A lot of people use this product. A lot of companies pay for their product in general. So I guess, you know, put your bias aside and look for a trade. At the moment, we're very much stuck in previous ranges, so I'm not that interested. I'm gonna have to see the stock get into 89.50 and then make a decision at 89.50. If you're making me have to decide in this area, I'm just gonna pass on this name. I don't care what happens in this pocket at all as a day trader. You know, if it does push into 89.50, I can possibly short from 89.50. But if it doesn't push into 89.50, then it's probably stuck in these previous ranges, at which point it's just a complete nothing burger trade for me. Nope, don't care about anything in this area. If it's able to push below this, maybe I care. If it's able to push above it, I care for sure. If it struggles in this pocket, then I care a little bit. But for the most part, it's one of the most non-interesting stock for me. And you know what? I'm gonna stick to my bias. I hate this company. Keysight Technology making a push right now, up at $200. Okay, Keysight. Like I said, usually a good name to keep an eye out for on the earnings season. And wow, what an absolute candlestick on this name at the moment. Not at new all-time highs yet, but you know, pushing above a lot of levels. That's a very good push. Come on, Magnet, stop fucking about. There you go. So 189.50. I think if we do pull back to 190, I think there is going to be some sort of a support opportunity over there on this name. Let me actually bring it over to this chart because this screen, I hate this screen now. Okay, yeah, there you go. So 209.48 or sorry, 20. The hell, Magnet. There you go. 209.08 is the all-time high, and this recent high over here is at 189.50. So I think we're gonna most likely play within this range tomorrow. Anywhere up here, you might get an opportunity to get short, or maybe even it sets up for a breakout above it. Who knows? We'll see if it plays out. But I'm envisioning honestly a pullback and then a rip. So a pullback and a rip, at which point we get to get long right off of the 190 bounce. So I'm watching Keysight Technology. I'm gonna put 190 to 189.50 as my support area, resistance 209 as my resistance, and my key inflection level will basically be somewhere between that two pockets, which will be $200. Basic even dollar level. I want to see how the stock reacts at that 200, and at the moment looks like it's already above the 200 and building a little bit of a base above 200, showing you that buyers are still willing to buy even after a big run up that the position has had, which is kind of what you want to see. But if this $200 area breaks tomorrow, then I think it's setting up for the trade I mentioned, which is a pullback to 190 and then a rip, which would be very cool to take a look at. Prad, any input for NIO? Yeah, I talked about NIO earlier on the stream. I'm not really a fan of NIO tomorrow. It really depends on how the stock is trading around $6. If it's able to be above 6 tomorrow, maybe there's a long there. But without that, I'm not too interested for NIO. I think a better stock is BABA in the China sector tomorrow. Someone in the chat mentioned Boeing BA. Wow, Boeing is really taking a hit, a nosedive to the downside at the moment, going into previous ranges. I'm not really sure what the news is or what the catalyst is. I might have to dive a little bit deeper into it, but I'm gonna pass on Boeing. I don't really like to trade Boeing. One of the most shittiest names in my history for me, so I'm gonna pass on Boeing. DLO already made the first 3 quarters more than last year, 54 million, and has the 4th quarter to report that paid 51 cents in dividends in May and another special dividend next loss gross. Okay. DLO? What is DLO? Dark Iris? I mean, what am I looking at here, bro? What are you putting as a stock to watch for, Michael? Are you day trading these names? Like, this is ridiculous, Michael. GOF? What is this? Guggenheim Strategic Opportunities Fund. Has upside to $13. And then what? It drops back? Like, what are we looking at right now, dude? This is ridiculous, Michael. I hope you're not putting your time and effort looking at garbage names like this. This is such a waste of your time and my time. I hope, really praying for your bank account that you're not putting money in companies like this. Oh, what? DLO was not the same ticker that I pulled up earlier? This is something else. Even then, like, I hope you're not putting your money in this. What is this? 1 million shares on a $12 name that went from $70 to $12? I don't know. I hope you're not putting your money into it. I'm not gonna waste my time with this or with the names that you mentioned today. That's an absolute waste of my time. We're gonna go to the last name on the watch list over here from the earnings board. It's Allegiant Technologies. Allegiant is a decent name to keep an eye on, but looks like it's struggling right now near the line that we just threw in. Notice how we got a triple top, 1, 2, 3, potentially a breakout from this triple top, but looks like it's actually struggling a little bit. Yeah, it got sold off. It got sold off, and then it popped right back up. Very surprising move. Almost no volume, to be honest. A little illiquid for a $150 name. 3 million, 4 million is a lot better than 4 million, 3 million for a $12 name. Okay. So Allegiant Technologies trading much better volume than whatever names our friend Michael over here is pointing us to. But the point is, what the heck, man? Why isn't the magnet behaving properly these days on TradingView? TradingView, you're pissing me off. There we go. So we got a couple levels ahead of us on the top side. Arc Raiders. On the top side, there are a couple levels over here, but from the action that we're seeing in the after hours, I think, you know, your guess is as good as mine. It got sold off first, then it got popped up later. For me, if it's above 153.50, there's potentially a move towards 157 and then potentially a move towards 160, but it all depends how the stock trades around this 153.50. That is your key inflection level that I'll be watching for tomorrow. For now, clearly getting sold off and struggling for Allegiant Technologies. Things are not looking good. So lower priority name for me, and that is basically my watch list. Let me show you the watch list here. Give me a second. Here we go. So that is the watch list for tomorrow. You guys can see it. Bang. These are the only names I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to look at any other names beside these, other than some small caps names that might be showing up on my radar. What did I put PE 6 for? Oh yeah, the PE for ANF is $6. That's right. So I'm not going to be looking at mostly maybe the large cap. You know, I always like to take a look at the large cap names. So Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Apple's already up there, Microsoft, Meta. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I missing? Amazon. 7. So Magnificent 7 will always be on my watch list. The ETFs, which is QQQ, SPY, IWM. The ETFs will always be on my watch list. I actually have a complete different layout that I use to track. Here you go. That I use to track ETFs at all times. So these will always be on the watch for me. But the main stocks I'm going to be watching will be in the colored area, and some small cap names that might pop up on my radar. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the stream for tomorrow. Stream for tonight. Nothing else besides this at the moment. No poly markets for us yet. Tomorrow we do have the Dell poly market for us to talk about. So be tuned in for that one. I have a couple positions filling at the moment. I have RTX 600 at 50 cents per share. I have Confidence. I'm very confident that Confidence will be said. So I have 65 cents per share, which is basically where the stock is trading at right now. And then I have no Nvidia 4 times at 40 cents per share, which I guess is exactly where the market's trading at right now. I'm still looking to buy some more positions over here, and obviously we'll be trading this live, or not trading it live, but we'll be covering it live tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. That's when the conference call for Dell begins, so make sure you tune into that one. Quickly, I want to check if there is, Zoom 100, Best Buy 89% that they beat their EPS tomorrow, huh? Abercrombie and Finch, 72% probability they beat their EPS tomorrow. Very, very fascinating. PagerDuty reports tomorrow after hours. That's a good name to keep an eye on. Urban Outfitters, Dell, Workday, Autodesk reports tomorrow too. Ooh, okay. And HPQ, Hewlett Packard, which I think should be EPS maybe. You know, it's surprising that they're only pricing in at a 37 probability that they're going to beat the EPS. That's funny. We'll see. 52% probability Cracker Barrel beats their EPS apparently. That's pretty funny too. Recently they got into a lot of trouble when they changed their logo, but then they changed their logo right back, and the company was like, okay, fine. We'll stop changing the logo, and it went right back up, which was a little hilarious. Surprisingly enough, I did not see PagerDuty or Workday on tomorrow's after hours. Zscaler tomorrow after hours. NetApp tomorrow after hours. So some good names tomorrow. Make sure you tune in at 4:30, and then we'll have some fun talking about those names. We already talked about the Chicago mercantile tool, or the FOMC rate tool. I've stopped looking at gamma exposure levels for stocks. I need to start looking at these levels again. So good thing that I clicked on that link. But really, what link I was trying to go to is the IPO link to see if there's any IPOs coming out. Looks like there is an IPO on the 26th of November, but not an important IPO by any means. So we can move past that one. I guess that leaves us with only one thing to talk about, which is the economic calendar for tomorrow. A little important, a little busy economic calendar. You got the core PPI at 8:30, obviously very important metric for the inflation and FOMC committee. So they're going to be looking at these numbers quite a bit, especially anything with the 3 stars. Make sure you're looking out for that time zone, 8:30 a.m. in the morning. A lot of them are actually taking place at 8:30. You got consumer confidence at 10 o'clock. That's a little important. That's during market hours. That could move the market one way or the other. So stay tuned for that one. And then the 5-year auction note at 1 p.m. Usually I only filter for 2 stars and 3-star events. I don't care for the 1-star event. But if you want to look at that, make sure you're filtering for the 1-star events too. And then make sure that you know exactly what is happening at what time, so you don't get caught off guard. That's basically all she wrote for today's stream, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really have any other stocks that I even want to add to my watch list for tomorrow, and I'm not swing trading anymore. I'm back to being a day trader, so I don't really have any swing names to mention to you at the moment because I'm not swing trading. So it is what it is. I think tomorrow will be a pretty decent day for the market to take advantage of based on how the market played out today. You know, nice little green move on both the QQQ and the S&P 500. A very good green candle on both of them. So we'll be interested to see how the market sets up going back into the all-time high by the end of the year, or not into the all-time high by the end of the year. I'm going to have to potentially close my poly market position based on how the markets are reacting. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, that's basically all she wrote. I'll see you guys next time. Actually, no, before we go, let's go to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin looks like it's kind of bottoming out at the moment. Nice little candle that can potentially put in a bottom for Bitcoin. I would still like to see Bitcoin reclaim 90,000 or 91,000, 90. I'm just gonna say 90,000. Nice and even dollar, 90,000. I would like to see Bitcoin reclaim 90,000, but things are not there yet. We're not there just yet. MicroStrategy, you know, a little bit of a bounce with Bitcoin itself, so that's a good thing. Coinbase crumbled, ha 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 ha. But you know, it's also looking to hold up right now at $240, so potentially worth keeping an eye on. At always, the IBITs, your Coinbases, your MicroStrategies. I'm also looking at these names mainly because the people in my Discord server that I trade with are also looking at these names, but we'll see if there's a trade on here. Most likely no trade for me on these names at all. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I got nothing else to talk about. We are 10 minutes early to end the stream today, and I'm going to take it at that. Go make some money tomorrow. Peace, peace, peace. Where's my fade to black button? There it is. Bye, chat. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.